So I started doing this YouTube video thing, so welcome to my channel. My name's Dave, and I've got my mate Mike helping here because he understands technology and I'm fucking stupid. Hi Mike. Anyway, so I'm going to be building a knife that is an experimental knife for me. I've been doing knives for about 1.5 years, 2 years, so I'm pretty shit. No, I'm not shit, but like there's a lot of really good axe out there. So, you know, I'm learning as fast as I can. And I've made some decent knives and I've sold some stuff, which is unusual, and thank you very much to the guys who bought them. I really appreciate it. I like doing Damascus, I like doing things that are different, and you know, you can't reinvent the wheel because a knife's a knife, but I like to think my way through things. I have some level of tactical experience with knives by virtue of being on the wrong end of pointy bits. And I don't think that I'm right about everything. In fact, I'm probably wrong about most things, but the reality is I'm just an arsehole with an opinion. So take from it what you will.
So David, if I ask you a question,
apparently I'm being interviewed.
If I ask you a question, make an about statement about this channel. So what about Dave Knives?
So what is this going to be about? It's going to be about opinionated fucking shit that is going to irritate some people, offend some, and just speak my mind. I don't really want to do this whole thing where you become a film star on YouTube. It's not who I am, but I do want to use this to measure myself, and I want to use it to get better. Since I started my knife making journey on YouTube by virtue of watching a fucking clip at 2 o'clock one morning of a note cutting paper, it's cost me a lot of money to cut paper. And so that's kind of what this is about. This is about measuring myself on the same platform that began what I'm doing. I do this as a hobby. I don't do it for a living, but I do enjoy the fact that I can make money out of it. And my goal with YouTube is to monetize it and become as big as Mr. Beast. So if you don't mind sharing this with 20 million of your closest friends, I'd be most appreciative. But yes, it is to grow the channel, and it's kind of to validate what you're doing in a way by virtue of people's comments and they're watching you. To say, right, you know, is it entertaining enough to be watched for a start? Does it have the value of being educational in a way, and also educational for me, because comments is what I'm looking for. Someone saying to me, Dave, if you do it this way, it's going to be better. Because knife making is very isolated. You don't do this in a group. You do it on your own, and it's lonely, and it's you can only be validated by someone buying a knife and saying, wow, I'm going to spend hard-earned money on your knife. And so for me, that's kind of what YouTube is about. This is what I'm starting this for. And I'm going to start this channel off by fucking going up against the Karambit, which is just going to piss so many people off. But it's not about pissing people off, it's just about expressing an opinion and something that I'm thinking of. So, to give you an idea of what I'm thinking of, I'll introduce you to my fucking one, because Mike's hidden my knife.
I have, but cut.
Here we go.
So you can start that again, give yourself a few secs, and then start, yeah. Okay. Also, I want you to mention, sorry, we will cut this out. Be clear about the fact that you've had experience in terms of real world experience, and that your knives
are trying to reflect that.
Yeah, is that whenever they hold your knife, it feels like a tool you can rely on, like it's you know, it feels right in your hand.
Okay. I'm not going to edit that because I don't fucking know. So that's all you heard. It's just going to be real life shit. Okay. So yes, what you heard from Mike there is very much what it's about. My real life experience is I've been in some interesting places and seen some interesting things, and it's really not the most important thing, but the reality is, yes, I've been on the receiving end of this and I've been on the giving end of it. And I want to share this with you about anybody who wants to get into a fight with a knife. It is the most intimate thing you will ever experience, and it is a point where you question your own mortality when you start to see yourself leaking. You don't ever want to get into a fight with a knife because nobody's going to win. I promise you this, that you're both going to trauma and you're both going to be cut. You're both going to be just fucking bleeding. And before you pull a knife into a fight, make sure that you're in control of that situation and the narrative and what's happening there if you can, and if not, be quicker than the other person, or fucking be able to run faster, preferably. If you only ever have to use a knife that I make to cut open boxes, I'd be fucking thrilled. But the idea behind these knives is that I want to make something that you can put on your body as a last resort item. A knife is never your first primary choice of weapon. If it is, you're a fucking idiot, okay? Because people have guns. That is a primary choice. This is a last resort choice. And the idea of having a 16-inch Bowie knife hanging down your leg as a last resort choice is just an encumbrance to your mobility. So to me, I'm trying to make things that can go into your belt as an EDC, that is out of the way of an appendix carry. I've just started carrying appendix after many years of carrying it on the back, and yes, there's all the arguments for and against. I couldn't give two fucks. I'm having to retrain my own fucking muscle memory to do this correctly. But I've also changed weapon altogether. I've gone on to 9mm compact, which is that Beretta APX, and you know, from a lumbering great Remington 1911, which I truly love with all my heart, and I've had for 23 years, and I've had 3 barrels for it. So it's a long-standing history. And moving over has also shown me that you know, where do I want to carry a knife if I have to carry a knife? I'm not a big fan of carrying knives. If anything, you know, a clip, a pocket knife, something like that is great, but it doesn't have the strength, the backbone of a full tang knife. Full tang, by the way, being, you know, a knife that goes front to back as one piece of steel. Wow, that's a long rant. Let's go back to the Karambit. I love the Karambit, make no mistake. I love the positive grip, you know, by virtue of the finger holes. I love.
Sorry, that's kind of going to be a fuck up if this phone rings.
Mike's phone's going to fuck up.
Yeah, it's going to make
video. It's already 5 minutes. I'm so used to doing Instagram.
But what's wrong with the Karambit?
Okay, no, I'll get there now, but I'm just, okay. So, by the way, my habits are that I smoke and I throw my stompies on the floor because my dustbins usually have things like acetone, turpentine, and all flammable manners of shit that sometimes you go, what's that smell? So, yeah, I sweep up every day. I'd rather just put the cigarette on the floor, thanks. And ashtrays are there's never enough of them. So, the Karambit. I love the Karambit. I love the way it looks. I love the way it feels. I love its positive hold. I love everything about it. The only thing that I have an issue with is that sickle blade. As much as I love it, if you get into a fight with someone as a protagonist who knows what they're doing, who has an intent, who is not just it's not an opportune thing, you never know what it's going to be. You're never getting into a fight with a Karambit if you have to get into a fight to go with the 6 inches, I'm going to stab you in the heart thing, because you're not going to get there with a Karambit. It's going to be a case of attrition, and you're going to be it's a case of who loses blood pressure fastest and whose trauma causes them to back out fastest. And so that Karambit with that sickle blade means that if I'm going to be slashing at somebody, I always feel that that's into a nylon big jacket or something like that is going to hang up. It's not necessarily always going to cut its way through. It can get caught in a strap, a buckle, anything like that. And that to me is a concern, because then you've lost control of what you should have the most control of in that space, apart from your fucking legs, so you can run the fuck away from it. So I want something with a blade that goes this way. You'll notice I'm running my finger gently across this blade because I'm a fucking idiot, and I'm glad I didn't sharpen it. Note to self. I want something that comes cleanly through something and not something that hangs up on something. And I've seen the guys fighting with Karambits, absolutely, but not all of us are going to get to that level of proficiency. And I think in that space, a Karambit is a fantastic thing. I think to a layman who might need it one day, it may be a problem. And remember this, that if you get into a fight with a knife, your hands are going to sweat like a pig. You are not going to have full control of that knife. You have not had the time to possibly draw it and get it into a space where it is absolutely 100% in your hand, in control. There's a lot of things that will happen in a space like that that are out of your control and problematic. So the idea behind this is twofold. One is to give you the positive grip. It also allows for the fact that you don't have a perfect, knuckle duster hold on everything else, but your hands have just slipped in easily. You've got control here. I'll be putting scales on this and we'll go through the development. And this is a prototype. I'm just fucking around with it. I also put a little D-clip on it. And if you look over here, I've got to get used to this camera vibe. It's so weird pointing at things in my own face. That little D-clip over there doesn't go all the way across the spine of the knife. It is designed for your thumb to push into, so that it pushes it into your hand. If I put this on the spine, how on earth do you get used to this? If I put ridges on the spine, the knife can still roll in my hand. With this clip, and I'm pushing it into the palm of my hand, that knife is not going anywhere. And I don't have a massively positive grip. You can see I'm just gripping with the first 2 parts of my fingers, okay, or the first digit. You know what I mean, the first knuckly thing. Anyway, the idea being that I don't have to have everything positive and perfect, but I still have the most possible control. So all of the knives that I make have got this little D-clip, and I like calling it a D-clip because my name's Dave, and it looks like a D, and it's just, fuck it, I couldn't think of anything else. So that's the idea behind this knife and the build that I'm going to go through with this little YouTube channel to see where it goes. And I think I'm going to title it Opinions and Arseholes, because that's all I am, is an arsehole with an opinion. So I'd really appreciate the comments. I'd love the feedback, because I'm likely to get a shitload of things wrong, and I may say things that are stupid, and I'm okay with that, because I'm thick-skinned enough to know when I'm a fucking idiot, someone can correct me. I'll go, oh, okay, my bad. And then I'll cry silently inside. So yeah, welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy it. I'll post little bits and pieces of where I came to with this, but we've had to redo an intro because my intro apparently sucked balls. Thanks, Mike.
Pleasure.
So I'll post like the heat treat and everything else, because I actually like watching heat treats. I like it as well because you can burn yourself to crappery doodle and everything else. Welcome. Hope you guys stick around. Please share, like, subscribe. I'll be starting Patreon and a merch site in about a week, and I'm joking, dude. I just love watching Oaks going through these processes. YouTube's a fascinating place. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed and welcome. Thanks.